This guide, the Common Language Guide, was sent out by Amherst University. Now, it wasn't sent out by the language departments, wasn't sent out by the English department. You would, Amherst has a good English program. You would think maybe a guide on language would be sent out by them. No, 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 no. It wasn't even sent out by the Office of the President or the Office of the Dean of Students. It was sent out by the Office of Inclusion and Diversity. This is something out of 1984. This is something right out of George Orwell, to hear things like the Office of Inclusion and Diversity. What does that office do? What is the purpose of that? Campuses are quite diverse. They've been very diverse for a very long time. They're inclusive. It's a university. That's the point of inclusion. I guess they're not inclusive to all of the conservative speakers that they disinvite, but the Office of Inclusion and Diversity is very often leading the charge to disinvite those people. So what do? They send out Orwellian guides like this. They police people's language. They enforce speech codes. They try to stop the free expression of ideas. They try to enforce a leftist ideology and a leftist orthodoxy. So this is how they described it. They said, quote, "This project emerged out of a need to come to a common and shared understanding of language in order to foster opportunities for community building and effective communication within and across difference. It includes a list of carefully researched and thoughtfully discussed definitions for key diversity and inclusion terms." So right here, you know immediately that today their excuse that this shouldn't have been sent out, it was a mistake, oh, they didn't mean to do it, blah, blah, blah. You know that's not true. They say in their first letter, these are carefully researched. These have been thoughtfully discussed. This is very, very intentional. They tell you twice in one sentence that it's highly intentional. And the purpose of this is very good, ostensibly. The nominal purpose, what they say is, we need a shared understanding of language in order to foster opportunities for community building. Now, the purpose of language is to communicate, right? That's the most basic definition of language. I have my own subjective experience going on in my head. You have your own subjective experience going on in your head. And the only way that we can bridge that unbridgeable gap is through language. What is language? It's letters and words and sounds, all of which are symbols to represent ideas that are outside of both of us. So I look at a tree, and I see the tree, and it's got leaves, and it's got branches, and it's got a trunk. Okay. And I want to communicate the idea of a tree to you. How do we do that? You have your own perception of the tree as well. But unless we have a common word for the common experience in objective reality of the tree, then we can't communicate. That's the purpose of language. You don't need an Office of Diversity and Inclusion to have language. The English language is much older than the Amherst College Office of Diversity and Inclusion. So they say their purpose is to foster opportunities for communication. No, 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 no. We have words. We have a language. What their real purpose is to rewrite language, to totally change language, to create new terms that connote new ideological constructs so that they can shape the ideology and the orthodoxy on campus.